So we're in Denver at the big 5G event. I'm here with Gilles from Xilinx, and I want to talk about what is actually a pretty important sort of, I guess, a meta topic within 5G, because a lot of conversations for quite a long time about how excited the industry is and how enterprise users and governments and everybody about the services, and the talk now is of like, you know, the telecom industry is a big software industry, but basically underneath all of the software and the services is still a hardware layer and a hardware platform.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what is important to understand is a lot of people are talking about the complexity of the 3GPP and the 5G deployment and talking about the NFV virtualization. But at the end of the day, you need to have a hardware layer that allow, in fact, the people to do what the 3GPP and the 5G is promising. So that means being flexible from the spectrum perspective, being able to address millimeter wave or to address the sub 6 gig, to address the NFV acceleration. This has been a big topic as well, discussion, saying how do you plan to use the ARM, the x86, but you need to have accelerators. And so I think that a lot of people are talking too much, or not too much, not enough, I will say, about what is the hardware being able to drive the 5G deployment. Okay. And so that's what I think it's important the people to realize, that beyond or behind the scene, there is hardware that need to be there, which need to be flexible.
Okay. So there's maybe more or maybe less talk than maybe there might be or should be about the hardware, but does that also translate into the operators also not being quite so focused on the hardware and the hardware platforms they need, or are the operators completely understanding and on board with this, but it's just not visible to the rest of the market?
I think it's probably a priority call. I think that they're probably looking at application, virtualization, and so for them means software. And they are probably taking that as a granted, that there is a hardware somewhere that will make the play, or that will make this happen. But I think what they are missing is that they are still looking for differentiation, even though they are saying, yeah, we want to have API that we can use multi-users or multi-vendors into the same environment. We want Y-box, but at the end of the day, they are still looking at what will be their differentiation, that they can really sell new services. And I think that they are starting to realize, and that has been the topic on several talks, that the software will not be enough. It's a big component, but that will not be enough for them to be really differentiating and being able to turn new services as fast as they want to turn. We heard about 90 minutes to turn on new services. Network slicing, live, and so for that you need nevertheless to have the hardware layer that will support those type of things.
Yeah. No, I think it's a really important point, and I think, you know, there's probably a couple of other topics that don't quite get as much airtime, I guess you might say. You know, and hardware related again, you know, the optical transport network within operators is absolutely key and essential to making any of the 5G promises and dreams come to life. And I think that's why OFC, for example, as a gathering place once a year for the industry, is actually becoming a more important part of the calendar for 5G and everything else, because at the end of the day, unless you've got an incredible transport network, you can forget about anything else that you're talking about. So, and we're really cognizant of that on Light Reading, and going to carry on talking about that. So, Gilles, thanks so much for talking to us today.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you very much.